Hello again, everyone. Thank you. That was so makes me feel powerful. Okay, I'm going to save the intros we introduced Becca last time. I will just say that this we have several troopers in the room who are here for the last hour learning about things like salaries and payments and offer letters and travel claims and everything else, and they're sticking around to learn about this mandatory P-card program. We have two newcomers that weren't here for the last session. We didn't introduce ourselves, so I'm not going to introduce yourself formally. Figure it out. I'm going to stop talking and let Becca take it over.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So here's the outline for this one. I don't expect this to take an hour like the last one. There's not that much, I don't think. But who knows? The big things are, I kind of mentioned the ABOR audit in the last one, but this one will go into more detail because it is because of the ABOR audit that we are doing this. And then what the P cards are and how to use them and how they're different, and then what you have to do to get one. Okay, so the ABOR audit, it began in 2011, and it looked at summer 2010. A lot of recommendations were put in place starting 2012, and then it was supposed to be fully implemented and kind of cleared up. The audit was, I think it's officially been closed. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it has been based on all of our recommendations or our compliances to it. But they do regularly ask for updates and proof that we are doing what we said we would do to bring down our advances. And again, what they said we needed to do was reduce the amount of money that was given in travel advances. There used to be, for 2010 and 2011, a large proportion of our travel claims. Like I said, last year we did 100 travel claims. In group travel claims were advanced at 100% all the way across the board. So they just given everything. Last year, of our 100, we had roughly about 25 travel claims. So we're down to about 25%. And now, even if you are on a group claim, your individual expenses are only advanced at 75%. The same rules apply, as you would if you were on an individual travel claim. And the individual travel claims are designed and those policies set by ASU. So if you have budgeted, $100 for local transportation, you'll get 75% advanced. When you come back with receipts for 100, you'll get that extra 25 in your after the travel is processed. So your advance is reduced. But the big change, one of the big changes that we have done in our office is to pay directors more vendors directly, and to pay service providers when we can directly, rather than giving you the money and having you pay them when you're there. Don't want to deal with that. It's actually more work for ASU when you deal with that, so we will deal with that. But the other thing is this declining balance P-card program. They are credit cards that are loaded with a certain amount of money and that we've budgeted and that you can use just like a regular credit card, and the balance will decline. If you are approved for this program and you feel that your program just cannot have one, that for whatever reason a credit card will not work in your location, you have to submit a written document, a written explanation of this, and it has to be a line by line. Every item that is expected that in your advance, why that won't work in your on a P card. And it has to go to financial services. They will review it. If they think that this is a understandable request, they will approve it. If you're telling them that you can't use a credit card in London, they will just reject it and say, sorry, you're getting a credit card. Then you have to partake in this program. I will say over and over and over again, easier for you instead of carrying around a lot of money. You carry around a credit card, and then you don't have to pay that out of pocket. You don't have to worry about the ASU funds commingling in your account with your personal funds and worrying about any of that. You don't have to deal with it. It's your credit card, we pay it, and it's considered paid directly by us. So, you don't have to deal with it. It's supposed to be a good thing. Yes. Yeah.
Like if I work through ISA.
Yeah, then you
Paid before I go.
exactly. Then you don't have to. Yes, it's only for people who. Yeah. Basically, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
Do you have any other expenses not covered by ISA?
If you're basically going to be on a group, I mean, if you're going to be an individual claim only, then the odds of you having qualifying for a P card are very, very minimal. The only time it may happen is if you choose to purchase your own airfare, and then that throws you over into the over $5,000 threshold, and you have to get a P card. But it's very rare because it excludes, the $5,000 is excluding per diem and group meals. So, because those can't go on.
Clarify, when you're talking about qualifying, you mean qualifying for the mandated program.
Yes.
But if they want a P card.
If you want a P card, we can give you a P card. But yes, anybody who wants a P card. In fact, this year there are a few people who don't have to have one, but want one, and that's okay. And Financial Services is actually really excited about that idea. So, but you only have to have a P card. You only have to explain why you can't have a P card. If when we budgeted your program, it said if you that yes, which is what we want to do. But for people who choose to purchase it themselves and therefore have to get reimbursed in their cash advance, then it can throw them into that. Then it's impacting. But we don't actually want people to do that. So hopefully, you do. So in last year's program, we had 9 cards, 10 programs. It reduced advances by nearly $40,000. And again, they're all declining balances. So I will, because we want to allow, and I will allow for varying exchange rates. When we budget, if we budget $4,000, $4,900 and something dollars, I will probably put $5,000 and something on your P card, just to be safe, just to allow. However, that doesn't mean you're supposed to spend that, the extra money, thinking that it's extra money, but it's just in case the exchange rate ends up not being in our favor, you have it, and you're not going to get rejected for lack of funds. So that is, your mind at rest for that reason. This year the program is fully implemented. Last year was a pilot program, so like I said, only a few programs were selected. This year it's mandatory. This year, if you qualify, you have to go through Financial Services if you don't want or can't have a P card. You have to. We will work with you so that your program is not adversely impacted. We don't want to make your life difficult. You can still get in advance, we still gave some sizable advances last year to people who had P cards.
Those of us who use them
We have to fill out the application again because you'll get a new card, the application, but you don't have to get fingerprinted and you don't have to do the online training. So that part, but I will just in a second. Yes, it's just a form. You basically just have to sign one form. I will submit it, and that's all you have to do. Okay, so eligible expenses. For the most part, they're group expense. Basically, it's group expenses. Textbooks, supplies for your program, group lodging and transportation, entrance fees and activities, any of those sorts of stuff. Yes, yes. That's coming up. Yeah. Only. Yes. Well, Dan's reordered my slides. Yes. These cards are only activated on the dates of the program, so you can't, if you need to use them before or after, or actually you shouldn't need to use it after the program, but should you need to use it before the program, let me know so that I can do that, and you'll have to tell me why. And they will only be allowed on certain merchant codes. So if no food at any time, for any reason, if you try, it will be rejected. The list of different merchant codes will be, or types of providers will be given to you when you get your card. When you sign your travel claim, you will get your card and you'll get your travel policies and an explanation, and the list of expenses that are put on your advance will be there, as well as the explanation of what we've budgeted on your P card will be there. And I'll have gone through it with you before this point to make sure that you agree what's on the P card and what's in your advance are correct. So this will not be the point where you be, no, that's not supposed to be on the P card. It can be, but hopefully we'll have already had that discussion. Okay, so key points. P cards are typically not allowed to be used for employees on travel status in any way, shape, or form. These are especially designed P cards meant to be used on SAO programs. So you can use them for hotels, for ground transportation, for car rentals and gas, all of the things that should you not have already completed the online ASU P card training that is sadly, required on Blackboard for anybody who has a P card, you will be going through this training. It will say, this is a prohibited expense. It's not for these cards. So our cards are different. So you have to do that training, but our cards are different. Okay, so everybody will have to fill out the P card application. We will fill it out. You basically just have to sign it. Okay, I'll send it to you. You sign it, and that's it. If you have never had a P card before, you will have to do the online training. It's a Blackboard. It takes a few minutes. It's not like maybe 30 at most, and that's if you are a good student and read all of the material and not just answer the test. But that is mandatory to get a P card. These are officially P cards. You have to do it, even though most of it won't apply. Parts of it that do apply are you have to have a receipt. It's just like a travel claim. So when you these, I need reimbursed on these. These were on the P card, you don't need reimbursement for them. But when you submit them to me, submit them the exact same way. You just let me know which ones are in which. And you don't have to do anything additional. I will, again, process everything, and you'll sign another paper at the end when you do your travel claim, and that's all that you have to do on that. If you have not ever been fingerprinted by ASU, you will need to be fingerprinted. I will get you, when we know for certain what all the programs, all the programs that are running, when we have a set list as of March 1, or 17 of everything. I will get you and send you your applications and tell you what we need, and we will work with your coordinators to figure out what's going to go on your P card and that information. And I will have already figured out who needs to be fingerprinted and gotten a name from HR about that. If you need to be fingerprinted, I will send you the information on how to do that. You do need to go to HR to get that. SAO will pay for it, so you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, the cards, when they come, they'll come directly to me. I will give them to you when you come and sign your travel claim. And again, it will only be active during your program dates, and you will need to return them at the end of the trip when you submit your receipt. So, if you're getting a P card, you'll have a group claim, even if the things that you actually get advanced for are very minor and it's your per diem and maybe a local transportation. You're still going to have a group claim because the expenses on a P card are group expenses and they get reconciled all together. It's an audit thing. If you choose to use the P card, which theoretically you could, for any personal expenses that are, or expenses that are not what were budgeted, you need to be aware that it is a declining balance. So if you spend $50 on your excess luggage fee, then you have $50 left to spend on your group entrance fees or some of that sort of thing. So you just be aware of that. And also, should you choose to do that, you have been advanced the $50 for your personal expenses, you might then have to pay money back to ASU because you didn't spend it yourself, so you won't get reimbursed for it. So just be aware of that. And that's all I have. Sorry, I feel like that was pretty fast. If you have any questions, let me know. Yes?
I remember issues last year where somebody went to pay something that a vendor that was in one of the approved categories, but the vendor was somehow coded wrong.
Yes. This year, we're going to make sure that the vendors are a little bit broader than they were last year, so we shouldn't have that problem. That doesn't mean, and it's just going to be kind of thinking outside of the box in terms of what you may potentially need, but that doesn't mean that expenses that are not allowed are going to be coded as okay, and you can still spend it. So there's still, it's just,
like it was like a
yeah, it was,
hotel and they were coded as a car wash.
yeah, it was, yeah, it was, yeah, yes, but that was Brazil, so that was, it was also.
That has everything to do with what? The credit card company?
That was, that's what you do need to think about, is that what I have been told is that every vendor picks one merchant code, and that's what they're coded as. So if they sell a lot of things, yeah, if they do a lot of services, and it was actually a bus rental or it was a that type thing. Apparently, they also have car washes, and that's what their main source thing. So it was car washes. Yeah. So if you know of a vendor, such as like Belle, we made sure she takes them to a museum, but that is also part of a brewery. So she didn't know if that would be allowable. But the museum tour is a cultural tour, and that's what's on the tour, the program. But since they can only pick one merchant code, odds are it's not tour. So we can always select on a specific P card, open up for a merchant code allowable on that card. We can make those changes because that's what these magic cards can do. But in general, you don't have that. So you need to think about who and where you're going to be spending and what they could be doing. And we will work with you. If you, we have programs that in the budget it just says excursions or it just says cultural activities, and we don't, and it has an amount per student. If you think that a portion of that could be used on the P card, but another part of it needs to be paid in advance, let us know. We will split it so that only a part is on your P card and a part you get in cash should you need to go to a museum that is a cash-only museum. We want to work with you. We don't want there to be problems. We want, if you're taking people to a museum, we want to make sure that you have the funds either on the P card or in your hand to pay for all the students. We don't want you to have it all on your P card and then find out it's cash only and not have the cash with you. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that you have what you need when you're there. But we don't want you to have to carry around a lot of money if you don't need to. Okay? So we want to work with you. Work with your international coordinators, work with me. We'll make it all seamless and easy.
Is there a pin to get cash from the card?
No, you can't do that. That's not allowable. That is one of those not allowable expenses. And these cards this year, I have been told that 15's cards should have the chip and pin, which I know is a very big thing for Europe. These don't. These are normal American just swipe cards. So they do work. Your vendors in Europe, they can swipe them. It's not what they're used to. It's not, but again, it's part of when you're thinking about your vendors, if you are positive that this particular vendor does not accept chip and pin or anything that's not chip and pin, let us know.
We can talk.
Okay, so yeah, we don't want there to be problems for you. But I do have to tell you that the financial services in the P card office have had JP Morgan, who's the person the company that gives the P cards, they've done a survey and they know that most of Europe does accept these cards. So that reason alone probably won't work for, I can't get this card, I can't be part of this program, So yeah, okay.
I remember a lot of puffiness, for lack of a better word, real concern that this would be a giant pain and inconvenience to everyone.
Yes.
I'm not sensing that everyone in the room is like, why am I here? Why do I have to do this? But you use it.